We are back, and today, and now our part two of what we're working on today is the slope-intercept form. Okay, so the slope-intercept form is y equals m times x plus b. Just remember, right here, side by side means that we're multiplying. Okay, m times x plus or minus b. Okay, so we can also, the slope-intercept form is the following way of writing an equation of a linear relationship. Okay, guys, so in our 8th grade class, we are going to be focusing on linear relationships. Okay, so our M represents slope. We've been talking about rate of change, so many ways that we can find it. And B represents our y-intercept. So this is going to be something that we're introducing. We've already been introduced. Important. See right here on, let's see. Okay, third time's a charm, right? Okay, so when we're looking at our y-axis and we're looking at our slope line, our y-intercept are where these 2 points come together. Okay, so if we're looking here at, okay, let's get a big color. I like that one. And back to the thin. Okay, so really importantly, students, that whenever we are finding x, or think about finding Nemo, where we're finding 0 and x marks the spot. Okay, so whenever we're finding 0 and x marks the spot, it's an arrow, okay, then it looks like our x value is 0, we know, and our y value looks like it's 2, 4. Oh, come on, 4. Okay, let's pretend that didn't happen. Right. Okay, let's go back to the right pen. Maybe it'll work correctly. Okay, there it is. There should be our 4. Okay, that right here, guys, is B. That's the y-intercept. That is what we go in for B. And then we would just do our rise over run, and that would go in for our M, our slope. Okay, so the y-intercept of a graph is the value where the y line crosses, or the value of y where the slope line, sorry guys, crosses the y-axis. The y-intercept is also called the value of y when x equals finding what, guys? We're not finding Nemo, we're finding 0. And I put a line in my zeros, okay? So in these two next little portions, we're not going to see as often, but it's noteworthy, okay? So in the graph of a horizontal line, okay, in the graph of a horizontal line, the blank value is constant. Oh my gosh, I should have switched these things. Okay, let's make a horizontal line right there. There's our horizontal line. Okay, so in the graph of the horizontal line, then our y value is consistent. Therefore, equations of the horizontal lines will always begin with y equals. Okay, so when it's a horizontal line, y equals, and it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Y equals 4 here. Every y value is 4. We can say that that's going to be 2, 4. We can say that's 4, 4, 2, 4, negative 2, 4. So every y value is going to be 4. Same thing. So if we have a vertical line, and so let's make this one vertical again, and let's make this one 2. Okay, so there's our vertical line, which, by the way, is undefined, isn't it? In a graph of the vertical line, our x values are going to be consistent. So therefore, x equals, and in this case, all of our x values are going to be 2. We could say that this point right here is 2, 4. This point right here is 2, 2. This point right here is 2, negative 2. So our x equals 2. Okay. Those are kind of our odd situations, but we will have that. So Practice your understanding of slope-intercept form by answering the following questions. Okay, so a line has a slope of -9, and the y-intercept is 2. What is the equation of the line? Okay, so our slope has a -9. That's our m. Let's look at this. Y equals m times x plus b. Not always in that order, but here is our -9 times x and our y-intercept of 2. Cool. The line has a slope of 4 5/10 and a y-intercept of -10. What is the equation? So again, y equals m times x plus or minus b. Okay, so we've got y equals 4 5/10 x. This time it's -10. The slope has a -5 and it passes through the origin. So what is our b? It's 0, isn't it? Do we need to write plus 0? So in the form of y equals mx plus b, it's just y equals -5x, and we don't have to put plus 0. Okay, so we're not going to put that there. Okay, going a little bit further. From the equations below, list the slope, y-intercept, and draw a basic sketch of what the graph of the equation would look like. Okay, so y equals -5x plus b. Well, don't write this down, okay? If this was y equals x, that's 1 times x, isn't it? Okay, this would have gone through the origin, and it would have gone through pretty much separating these parts right here to be the same size. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Now, we will write this. This is going to be downhill, isn't it? And it's a much steeper, okay? And we're going to cross through the y-intercept at +7. So let's pretend that's +7. We know this is going downhill because it's negative. Okay, so whenever I'm going left to right, and I'm going this direction, left to right, I'm sorry, we want to make sure that it goes downhill. Pretty steep, so I'm going to draw it where it looks kind of like that. Okay, so the slope is -5 and the y-intercept is 7. Reminder, we had to find where x marks the spot. It's a y. So x finding 0 so that we could find that the y-intercept is 7. That's my 7, okay? It looks funny, but it is. Okay, so what do we know about this next graph? It's proportional, isn't it? Okay, so we've got a slope of 3. Again, don't write this one until I tell you to go. If it was a slope of 1x, it would look kind of like this. 3 is a little bit steeper. Okay, so now we're going to, and we go through the origin, don't we? There's no y-intercept, so it's just 0, nothing there. And so it's a fairly steep graph, about 3 times the steepness, and it's positive. So it should look something like that. Slope is 3, and the y-intercept is 0. Okay? And number 6. Slope. What is the slope? What's that quiet number in front of x? You know what it is, don't you? It's 1. Y-intercept, -5. So let's go down to the y. Let's pretend that this is -5. So that point is 0, -5. So we're finding 0. And the slope is going to be a positive slope. So we know we're going uphill. And this should be kind of like what we were talking about, kiddos. So the slope would look something like this. Okay? There we go. Give you a second here. Okay? And we're going to, I'll help you with a couple of these, but it's your turn. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to this one. Okay? And we can see that the y-intercept is 9. Okay, we can see the slope. We're going to go rise over run. I'm looking at my y values, and it looks like my y values are counting by 1s. My x values are counting by 1s. I'm finding 2 good points. Okay, so I'm going to do rise over run. Rise over run. And counting. Let's see, make it then, go to this, and we're going to count. Rise 1, 2, 3. So our rise equals 3. Our run equals -1, and I can see this is going downhill, so it's -3. -3. y equals negative 3x plus 9. Okay, you've got some vertical slopes here, and you've got some horizontal, so be careful about those. And so after this video, guys, you're going to go to that worksheet. Go ahead and work through it. This is one of those things that's due today. Love you. Hope that you are learning well, and hope you have a blessed day too. Thank you.